Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the underground. Please buckle your safety belts and enjoy the ride. More power to you. Alternative television. A voice of dissent. Revolution.
I'm looking for a world to come around. I'm searching for a place where thought is loud. I've been hanging around, yet still I don't believe all of these lies you feed. So no more blood, no more belief in you. They on the radio, they on the FCC, they're buying more and more and more. I've been listening for way too long. I've been holding my breath and holding my tongue, but no more f***ing around. It's time that we all see right through your evil deeds. I'm putting the paper down tonight. It's alright. Alright.
Time to take a detour. Our foreign correspondent, Martin Markovits, is on the scene in Mexico City with this exclusive report. It's all yours, Marty.
Thanks, Deanna. This is Martin Markovits coming from Mexico City, where I've witnessed the closest election in the history of Mexico. Supporters of Andrés Manuel López Obrador, the leftist, fiery, populist candidate who has been wanting to basically redistribute the wealth and create social policies to help the poor and help the impoverished. Our supporters of him are here today protesting what they say is an election marked by fraud. 400,000 people have gathered in Mexico City's central square, the Zócalo, as we can see right here, with a huge Mexican flag. And basically, the word on the street is fraud. These people are angry.
The people of this country, the only thing we want is a peaceful country. We just want a president that we elect. By the legal process, we're trying to do everything by peaceful, but if the peaceful situation doesn't get any solutions, at least I'm ready, and I know that a lot of people is in my situation, that we are ready to pull out our guns and start shooting, because it's enough. It's enough.
So you're really ready. I mean, you're ready to start shooting.
If you want me, I can ask them in Spanish. La gente que está aquí conmigo está lista para ir hasta las últimas consecuencias para. Obrador! You got any doubts, Robert?
I think I got my answer. I'm here with Greg Palast, the writer of The Best Democracy Money Can Buy, and his new book, Our Madhouse. My first question is the obvious one, the parallels between Florida and Mexico.
Yeah, too many parallels. This is Mexico is Florida con salsa. It's an eerie and frightening repetition. For example, and this happened in Ohio in 2004 too, which is that there are nearly 1 million votes here, 904,000 votes, which are blank, supposedly blank ballots, and yet the Calderon, who claims victory, won by only 243,000. That is, the number of blank ballots is 4 times the number of the size of the plurality for Calderon. And therefore, you've got López Obrador, who is known as Almo, asking for something very simple, a recount. This is just like Al Gore, who said, let's count the votes. See, people didn't understand that in Florida, There were 179,000 votes that were not counted, that they said were blank. You couldn't read them. Well, if you went through them, Gore would have won. If you go through these votes, it's pretty clear that Alma would win. That's why they don't. Yeah, that's why they don't want to count them. Otherwise, obviously, they would count them if they had nothing to fear. And the reason is that blank ballots aren't random. In other words, if they just showed up randomly, or ballots that are unreadable, if they showed up randomly, no one would have an advantage. But that's rarely true. Ballots that go bad or blank usually come from poor areas, usually come from places where there's no voter protection and are very suspect. Usually what they call a blank ballot is a ballot you can read. Someone has marked it, but it wasn't read properly the first time, or was ignored, or in cases where they're machines, the machines didn't properly read them. But here, it should be very easy to take a look at those ballots and see if there's a mark on them which would indicate a presidential choice. The other thing is that each of the ballots, as in Florida where you had miscounting, here once again you've got a lot of miscounted ballots. Every time that they've opened up what they call a paquete, which is just a package of ballots, the numbers change. So there's no reason not to recount the ballots. Since it only took 1 day to count all the ballots in the first place, it doesn't really, if you have a large enough team, it should be all centralized where everyone is watching the vote. There is no ballot box security here. So that's another big problem. The other thing is that what is astonishing to me is that there's 3 million ballots which are effectively missing. Now, this has not been reported, which is that it's something called negative drop-off. That is, you have more people voting for the deputy or senator here in Mexico than for the president. On a big presidential election, you expect, the main thing you're interested in is the presidential election. Sure. So it's very suspicious that all these people didn't vote for president. And the way it works in Mexico, there's 3 separate pieces of paper: president, senator, deputy. Right. If you don't cast, so it's very easy to literally throw out votes and say they're missing. And no one counts the unused ballots. Literally, unused ballots can be marked, taken out of the voting booth. There's absolutely no control over unused ballots in Mexico. I've never seen anything like it. It is absolutely astonishing. There's literally 3 million pieces of paper out there, votes, floating around. Anyone could mark those. Anyone could have lost those. We know that some votes were found in the trash. But if you found some in the trash, people that throw away ballots are usually smarter than simply throwing them in the garbage. Right. So we know that lots of votes were lost that way that will never be recovered. So even if you do recount, the vote's suspect. But I'm quite certain that if you had a count of all the blank ballots, and certainly of all the ballots, in fact, the few ballots, packets that were recounted, everyone produced a higher total for López Obrador, the challenger.
De todo corazón, con todo cariño, amorosamente, muchas gracias.
What is the future? What can we do? Do we in the United States, when things like this happen, should we get mobilized and do marches? I mean, what do we do? What's the next step?
Well, yeah, actually we should get angry, and we should mobilize, and we should do marches, and more important, we should demand that, like López Obrador, that our candidates, if the votes aren't counted, that they demand that the votes be counted. And that has to be a demand which has nothing to do with what political party you're in. We have to demand that all politicians adhere to the idea that all votes get counted, period. No vote left behind has got to be the rule. No vote left behind.
This is Martin Markovits from the Underground, reporting from Mexico City. Back to you, Deanna.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. More power to you.